As we head to Mexico for one of the last 3 races of the season, we all eagerly awaited what the FIA's decision would be in regards to the Red Bull cost cap breach. And the time has finally come, as Red Bull have been hit with a bombshell after the FIA cost cap decision was made on Friday ahead of free practice. And naturally, everyone has an opinion on the matter, especially Angry Spice of Red Bull, Toto Wolff of Mercedes, and Laurent Mekies of Ferrari. So be sure to break out the popcorn when you hear what they have to say later on in the video. So what was the penalty? And what did Christian Horner have to say? So we finally found out what penalty was to be served by the FIA to Red Bull, and it consists of a $7 million fine and a 10% reduction in wind tunnel time for next year. Due to Red Bull having already won the Constructors' Championship this year, this will have an even greater impact on the team moving forward. Because as champions, they already have a reduced wind tunnel time, and on top of that, they now have to knock off a further 10%. So normally without punishment, Red Bull's wind tunnel time for next year would be 224 runs. But the 10% reduction will mean only 202 runs. This should in theory cut back their competitive edge considerably, as Ferrari will have 240 runs and Mercedes 256 as it stands. The restrictions will be in place for 12 months from the date of the concluded agreement. This means the limit is valid up to the 26th of October next year. However, the financial penalty does not come out of the team's budget cap, so Red Bull will still have their budget to play with in 2023. Do you think this is right? Or should it be removed from their budget cap? Let me know your thoughts below. Either way, Christian Horner is rather furious with the outcome, and this is a sample of what he had to say. I've heard people reporting that's an insignificant amount. I can tell you now, it's an enormous amount. That represents anywhere between a quarter and half a second a lap time. That comes in from now. That has a direct effect on next year's car and will be in place for a 12-month period. By winning the Constructors' Championship, we've become victims of our own success. It gives an advantage to our competitors, which is why they were pushing so hard for a draconian penalty. There were other sporting penalties that were available to the FIA, but this one was obviously lobbied hard for by our competitors because they felt it hit us the hardest. I'm sure if you burned our wind tunnel down, it still wouldn't be enough. We accept these penalties begrudgingly, but we accept them. So Horner is not a happy man at all and believes that these penalties are very severe for Red Bull. But many other teams on the grid disagree with that and think if anything these penalties are too small and do not provide enough punishment for the team. But before we hear what they have to say, big thanks to you for sticking around to this point in the video. Be sure to hit the like button if you're enjoying today's content and make sure you subscribe for more short Formula 1 updates like this in the future. So Ferrari isn't pleased with the decision of the FIA after Ferrari racing director Laurent Mekies had this to say in regards to the Red Bull penalty. We at Ferrari think that the overspend is worth around a couple of tenths a lap. And so it is easy to understand that these figures can have a real impact on the outcome of races and maybe even the championship. As for the penalty, we are not happy with it for 2 reasons. The first is that we at Ferrari do not understand how the 10% reduction of aerodynamic research allowance can correspond to the amount of lap time that we mentioned earlier. And furthermore, there is another problem in that. Since there is no budget cap reduction in the penalty, the basic effect is to push the competitor to spend the money elsewhere. It has total freedom to use the money it can no longer spend on wind tunnel and CFD due to the 10% reduction and use it for reducing the weight of the car and who knows what else. Our concern is that the combination of these 2 factors means the real effect of the penalty is limited. So some strong concerns for Ferrari in regards to the penalty. But let's see what Toto Wolff had to say on the matter. I think what is most important for me is that there is a robust governance. The FIA didn't budge an eyelid, they just followed the process how it went. They were absolutely good in assessing. I know how rigorous they were with us all throughout the year. That was a difficult process. When I'm seeing 13 positions that were wrong, with us it wasn't the case. Overall, it's good to see that there is a penalty. Whether we deem it too low or too high, it's a sport of marginal gains. Whether it is 200,000 or 2 million. At the end of the day, everything costs performance. And we all had to cover sick pay and gardening leaves and the canteen. 9 teams were okay, and 1 team was in breach. So no sympathy from Toto naturally, and he didn't really expand on whether or not he thought the penalty was enough. But I want to hear what you guys think. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Was the FIA too harsh? Or have Red Bull got off pretty lightly? Well, that's the video from me today, guys. Thanks ever so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and until the next time, bye bye.